Ever wondered why the rich don't pay taxes? It's because they know the secrets of the tax system. And you can too. Starting a business is your first step to beating the tax system. Let's dive in. Schools teach you about fractions, not tax deductions. They prepare you for basic math, but not for the intricate world of taxes. Don't worry, class is now in session, and I'm your slightly jaded but surprisingly informative guide. Together, we'll navigate this complex terrain. Welcome to School Won't Teach You This, where we unravel the mysteries of finance, especially the ones they don't want you to know. We'll break down the barriers of financial jargon. Today's lesson, why the rich don't pay tax. It's a deep dive into the strategies that keep their wealth intact. Buckle up, grab a notebook, and get ready for some mind-blowing facts. You'll want to jot down these insights. We're diving deep into the world of tax loopholes, tax havens, and the difference between capital gains and income tax. These concepts are crucial to understanding the financial landscape. We'll even be name-dropping some famous billionaires. Their stories will illustrate our points. By the end of this, you'll be saying, "I didn't learn this in school." But now, you'll be equipped with knowledge that can change your financial perspective. Let's be real, the tax code is more confusing than IKEA instructions after a glass of wine. Schools don't teach you how to save on taxes. But starting a business opens up a world of tax benefits. The rich, they hire experts to navigate this maze. These experts are like financial ninjas, skilled in the art of finding and exploiting tax loopholes. Loopholes are like those hidden levels in video games, perfectly legal, but only accessible to those in the know. Think of it like this. You work a 9 to 5, pay your taxes, and dream of a vacation. The rich, they're sipping mojitos on their yachts, deducting the whole thing as a business expense. Now, we're not saying it's always yachts and mojitos. Sometimes it's private jets and caviar, but you get the idea. These loopholes are perfectly legal, but morally questionable. Why? Because they shift the tax burden from the wealthy to the rest of us. Let's explore how you can take advantage of these loopholes. Ever heard of the Cayman Islands? How about the British Virgin Islands? No, they're not just exotic vacation spots, though they are that too. They're also tax havens, sunny destinations for your money to avoid those pesky taxes. Think of it like this. You wouldn't leave a cookie jar unguarded in a room full of kids, would you? Well, corporations treat taxes like that cookie jar and tax havens like their secret hiding spot. Companies like Apple and Amazon are masters at this, stashing their profits overseas to avoid paying their fair share. It's perfectly legal, of course, because what's legal and what's right are often two different zip codes. These tax havens cost governments billions in lost revenue, money that could be used for, important things like schools, hospitals, and fixing those potholes you keep complaining about. By starting a business, you can also benefit from these financial paradises. Now, let's dive into the world of personal taxes versus business taxes. Comparing these two is like comparing apples to oranges, but understanding the differences is crucial for your financial well-being. This is where it gets juicy, or should we say deductible. Businesses have more ways to save on taxes compared to individuals. You see, when you work for a living, you pay income tax on your wages. This is the tax that comes out of your paycheck every month. But businesses? They have various deductions, credits and loopholes that allow them to reduce their taxable income significantly. This means they can keep more of their earnings compared to someone who relies solely on a salary. Imagine this. You work your tail off, get a raise, and the government takes a chunk of it as income tax. It's frustrating, right? Especially when you see how differently business income is treated. Your wealthy neighbor owns a business, makes a huge profit, and pays a fraction of that in taxes due to various deductions. See the problem? The disparity in tax treatment creates an uneven playing field. It's like playing a board game where businesses start with all the properties and get to use different rules. They have advantages that most people can only dream of. This system perpetuates wealth inequality, making it easier for businesses to thrive while individuals struggle to keep up. The gap between the wealthy and everyone else continues to widen, creating a cycle that's hard to break. Start your own business and see the difference. The tax benefits can be substantial, giving you a better chance to build wealth and secure your financial future. The Bezos and Buffett Billionaires Club Tax Masters. Let's put some faces to these tax strategies, shall we? These two titans of industry have mastered the art of tax efficiency. We're talking about the big leagues now, the kind of financial maneuvering that most of us can only dream of. Jeff Bezos, the Amazon overlord, and Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha himself. These names are synonymous with wealth and financial acumen. These guys are practically honorary members of the Pay No Taxes Club. Their wealth is staggering, yet their tax bills are surprisingly low. Bezos, for example, has famously paid very little in income tax despite his astronomical wealth. How? By leveraging the tax code to his advantage. By minimizing his salary and taking advantage of various deductions and credits. It's a strategy that requires a deep understanding of the tax system. Buffett, on the other hand, has admitted to paying a lower tax rate than his secretary. His secret? Capital gains tax, baby. By focusing on investments rather than salary, he keeps his tax rate low. Many of the ultra-wealthy use similar strategies to reduce their tax burden. It's a common practice among those who can afford the best financial advice. It's enough to make you want to throw your tax return in the air and yell, "If it's good enough for Bezos, it's good enough for me." Disclaimer, we do not recommend actually doing that. The tax code is complex, and what works for billionaires might not work for everyone. The IRS has a surprising lack of humor. They are constantly on the lookout for tax evasion and aggressive tax avoidance strategies. So, while it might be tempting to follow in the footsteps of these financial giants, it's important to stay within the bounds of the law. But you don't need to be rich to play. Starting a business is your ticket to mastering taxes. Let's learn from the best. Want to save on taxes? Start a business. Here are some tips and tricks to get you started. The good news is there are things you can do to legally reduce your tax burden. No, you don't need to be a billionaire or hire a team of accountants. First, educate yourself. The more you know about the tax code, the more likely you are to find deductions and credits you qualify for. Second, consider hiring a tax professional. They can help you navigate the complexities of the tax system and find ways to save. Third, explore different investment options. Investing can be a great way to grow your wealth and potentially reduce your tax liability through capital gains. Beat the tax system like the pros. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your money. Why haven't they fixed this already? The tax system is full of loopholes, and starting a business lets you take advantage of them. Let's find out why these loopholes exist and how you can benefit. Part of it has to do with lobbying. Big corporations and wealthy individuals spend a lot of money to influence lawmakers and keep these loopholes open. Another part of it is simply the complexity of the tax code itself. It's like trying to untangle a giant ball of yarn after your cat got to it. Every time you try to fix one thing, you end up creating new problems. The good news is there's growing awareness about these issues. More and more people are demanding tax fairness and calling for reforms. So, while it might seem like an uphill battle, remember that change is possible, especially when we work together. Knowledge is power and maybe saves you some tax money. Knowing the tax system is half the battle. Firstly, the rich don't necessarily avoid all taxes, but they definitely pay less, thanks to a complex system of loopholes, tax havens, and favorable tax rates on investments. Secondly, this system isn't exactly fair, as it burdens the middle class and perpetuates wealth inequality. Starting a business gives you the power to save. By understanding how the system works, you can start making informed decisions about your own finances and potentially reduce your tax burden. Let's arm you with the knowledge you need. Remember, you don't need to be a billionaire to play the game smart. If you found these tips helpful, like, subscribe and share. Starting a business is your key to beating the tax system. Spread the word. And for even more content, check out the links in the description below. You've learned the basics of beating the tax system. Stay tuned for more tips and tricks. Class dismissed. Click on the video links on the screen to watch more content.